Hello, everyone. Welcome to this wonderful International Coaches Week we are celebrating in 2022. I am Sat Khalsa, and I'm the co-director and co-developer of the Innermost Shift coaching model, along with my partner Siri, who's on the screen.
Yes.
Yeah,
Hi.
and we are living with a mission to help people to get the very best and achieve the very best they can every single moment and in this single lifetime we have. And we have been working in the field of coaching, training, NLP for more than 2.5 decades, and we study and adopt deep research work in the field of yoga somatic, mindfulness, yoga psychology, spirituality, productivity, and power of love as force for creating good, masculine and feminine leadership for being balanced and whole. So we draw whole sort of work and research into our work, and we take keen interest in life as a book, unfolding the mysteries of nature, knowledge, and how to apply it, living excellence and being outstanding. And now, when many aspiring coaches, we talk and even I talk while we do coaching or training with them, they often ask that what they can do to innovate or to really coach the people in a seamless manner. Okay, because when they find other coaches, they are very exciting, they're very engaging, and they seems to feel that they are doing monotonous and repetitive work in nature. Okay, now here is the deal that every coach is not a vacuum, is not hollow, plays some game, okay, has some structure, has some art, has some principles, and some technology in mind, which they use very seamlessly as the artistry of mastery. And with this idea in mind, we have brought the coaches from world over, and today is our fifth day of this coaching week. And we have, Ivan Young with us. Okay, so let me welcome him. Let me bring him back. Okay.
Hello, everybody.
Yes,
Hi.
hello. Okay.
Welcome, Dr. Ivan. Welcome to this wonderful International Coaching Week. And Dr. Young is a credentialed master neurolinguistic practitioner and a certified professional in diversity coach through the Coach Diversity Institute and a credentialed master MBTI practitioner with a PhD in holistic life coaching. Dr. Young is a distinguished fellow and a co lead for the Council on Race, Equity, and Inclusion at the Institute of Coaching McLean, a Harvard Medical School affiliate. He is regarded as the go to coach for successful high achievers who struggle to overcome problematic beliefs and behaviors. He is well respected for his achievements in working with acclaimed public figure, entrepreneurs, entertainers, pro athletes, and licensed professionals. Dr. Ivan Young is the author of Amazon bestsellers Another Chance, Break Up, Don't Break Down, and A Time to Chill. Wow. He's featured expert on MSNBC, CNN, ABC, NBC, and amongst many others. In January 2021, Dr. Ivan Young was invited to become a member of the Forbes Coaches Council, an exclusive community for leading business and career coaches. And also, Dr. Ivan Young has last year come out of a fourth stage cancer, and I think that's a blessing. We always have a blessing. So, really, Dr. Ivan Young, we really wish you all the health and best of health all the times to come because we need more coaches like you, who can help people to really evolve. And as you rightly mentioned, I was talking to you that when certain things come, it's for our learning. It's not something which can, kind of take us down. And that is being, I think, one of the best coaching approach to your own self. So welcome to you to the series. And so let me just ask you this question: that what do you have to say about this games coaches play, and how does this help clients when you're coaching them in a given best moment of time?
Well, one thing that first, thank you, Siri, and thank you, Sat. One of the things that I'm very motivated to talk about is coaching is an opportunity for growth. When one is wise enough to understand that what we're doing may be good, but the question is it our best? Is it what we're capable of? And that's typically when people end up in my office, is because they've succeeded in other areas of their lives. They've succeeded in business. They may or may not have succeeded in personal relationships, or they succeeded in a relationship, didn't succeed in business. The reason why we stumble is because we lack clarity. Coaching now is a significant tool that can be used to help us play on a global stage. I know that in the West, especially in America, there's a lot of foolishness and a lot of hypocrisy and misunderstanding about life and culture. And one thing that I love about the ICF India is that you guys are ahead of us in terms of bridging that gap and having the awareness that we are in a global place. And if you don't have a global mindset, if you don't have a defined approach, well, this game of life that we're all playing, you're going to lose. And as a coach, I believe in keeping with today's theme, the games, people play. I think we need to learn that there is a fun way to engage growth, to engage awareness and accountability. And coaches should make that process almost like a game, like a dance, that you learn to do it in tune and in tempo with the music that's called your life.
So, Dr. Ivan, you have just brought a very significant thing in mind, and that has triggered a very um, curious thought that, when you talk about that India is far ahead, Dr. Ivan, let me tell, and yet there is something need to be done to reach to the global mindset. And so, what kind of a game coaches need to keep in mind to play to change this mindset with the self and with others as well?
That's
So,
a great question, Sat. One of the things that I know that India has is a very rich culture. You can go to one part of India and it is almost like you've stepped back in time. You go to another part, everything is state of the art and years ahead of everyone else. But what the common thread is that India is a constituent on the global stage, period. If you look at technology in America and you call for support, you're going to talk to somebody in India, and I think that we as coaches are in a position to learn to appreciate the bigger picture. India is successful as a nation and as a people right now because it thinks globally. It does not think that, what I can see is all there is. And I think that as a coach, we have to inspire and pull out in our clients more than what they can see, more than what they expect, and get that client to move beyond the limited thinking that they have about themselves and others, or even that they may have about their lives. At the end of the day, most people fail not because they didn't make a business plan, they didn't plan for success. We all plan for failure. We all have this mindset that we're waiting on the other shoe to drop. We're waiting on what happened before to happen again that didn't turn out the way that we wanted it to. Where we don't spend enough time is in creating intentional outcomes and operating with the expectation that I am not only going to succeed, but I'm going to flourish. And this is what that looks like.
And I think that's what you really talk about, the success focused coaching, right, sir?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, that's so you can continue. You have some
yeah.
question.
So, um, Dr. D, when you say about that, you have a model called success focused coaching. What is so very different about this approach, and how can this approach be applied in, achieving the objective of changing from the local to the global? So, if you were playing this role, okay, to prepare the coaches as well as the people, to adopt that kind of a mindset with the rich culture they have or we have. So how would this model, this game can be played, Dr. D? One, let us know this from your side.
Well, one of the things that we can do is stop thinking that we already have arrived. I don't care how successful you are or how many times you failed. All of that is one thing. It's experience. It's a lesson, and it's positioning you, whether you're the coach or the client, to look at your life in a different perspective. I tell people that failure is as important as success. As a matter of fact, failure is what sets you up for success. You cannot have lasting, meaningful success without having experienced loss, without having failed, without having been in a position of lack. I know that I've been in places where what's made me a great coach is
Mm.
I didn't get my MCC when I submitted my first round of recordings. It didn't pass. I had to do it again. When I got my national board certification, I didn't pass the first time. I had to take the test again. Well, what that taught me is that I'm not as good as I think. So just because you're successful in any way, to any degree, that should not be your ending point. That should be your starting point.
Mm.
There's an opportunity that all of us have when it comes to being a better version of ourselves. As a coach, I would implore you, no matter what your client's position, whether they are poor or struggling or very wealthy, to ask them, what is it that's going on in your life right now
Mm.
that can be transformational if you do more with it? What is it that is going on in your life right now that is trying to teach you something about you that you either don't want to accept, admit, or learn? How are your judgments of yourself or other people, your biases? And put another way, how is bias blocking you from attaining the next level? Because see, some of us, we grew up in situations, and I don't care where you are in the world, this can apply to you. You
Mm.
grew up in a household where your mother bullied your father bullied your mother, where someone looks at what station you have in life, what the color of your skin, whether you're male or female, and to some degree, you have been wounded or you have suffered because you were born not with the right last name, not in the right section of town, you're not the right gender, and you use that as an excuse not
Mm.
to be who you are capable of being. It is time as coaches that we stop um, limiting our clients' growth because we want to hold their hands and keep them stuck or validate their depreciation of self. When in fact, why do we do that with the client? Well, it's because the coach is probably doing that to some degree with themselves. When I look at myself as a coach, I don't see myself as an African American man, but I used to. I used to think, well, because I have dark skin, I have to be twice as good as the white guy in order to get the same amount of respect.
Uh,
Well, where did I get that from? I
mm.
grew up in a household, and as you know, in America, is very racist. I mean, hell, we elected Donald Trump. That ought to tell you something. But America's a very racist country, and it's very easy, and it's a very sexist country also. So it's very easy if you're a woman, or you're a minority, or you're West Indian, or you're Asian, or you're Middle Eastern, in this country especially, to feel like you aren't going to get a fair shot. Well, I'm going to say this: whatever you expect, that's probably what you're going to get. What I'm saying in the long run is change your expectation of what you deserve, and change it first, not from the outside in, but from the inside out. Expect more from yourself. Expect more, and realize that nobody's going to give you anything. Everything that you're going to earn in this life is going to require that you work your butt off, and that you find and tap into whatever gift you have. Your gift is not somebody else's gift. So if your gift is weaving or sewing or farming, be the best weaver, be the best farmer. If your gift is teaching, be the best teacher. If your gift is coaching, be the best coach. But to do any of that, you have to put in the work to perfect your gift, because our creator, God, Shiva, however you want to say this, Allah, he gave you nothing but one thing today. He gave you this moment. He gave you right now. And if you do the right thing with it, you will probably get something wonderful from it. But if you waste it, then the very things that you're expecting from other people, you won't receive it from them. And the main reason why is because you haven't positioned yourself to get it.
I think very, very amazingly said, when you said that you have to really work for it. It's something nobody's going to come and give it to you. And we have to really identify what is the gift. So while you've said really, wonderful things about that, the success, and it's all about what you're talking about is success focused coaching. I'm really wondering what could be the key factors of achieving success in life, according to you, Dr. Jeevan?
Well, the first thing is accept who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Take some inventory and look at where you came from. Where were you born? What were you born poor? Were you born wealthy? Were you born in a dysfunctional home where there was abuse, or were you born where everything was given to you? Whatever your blind spot, if you were born where everything was given to you, then you ask the question, well, what is it that I need to earn for myself? I can't live off of what my mother and father have given me. If you were born lacking things and poor, ask yourself, what have I accepted as a standard that I need to change? Have I accepted the fact that because I don't have the right last name, that I am going to be looked at a certain way, or judged a certain way? Stop and think about what has happened in the most recent part of your life. Did you get a divorce? Are you in a situation where maybe you've lost a child? Or like me, last year, I confronted death, having cancer that had gone and advanced to stage 4. Well, everything that's happening in your life, whatever it is that you've come from, it is nothing but an opportunity. For me, using cancer as the example, it was an opportunity for me to really stop and think about my life. And in that experience, I learned that, I really appreciate the doctors that are nice to me. I really appreciate the nurses and the therapists and the team that actually say we instead of him. So now in my practice, I've learned to really step back and think about, these people did not come to me by accident. It's divine intervention that life has allowed them to find me and to choose me. And if that's the case, how should I interact with them? Should I be more than just their coach, or should I be the person that's their biggest supporter? Should I also be the evidence for what they want to do in their lives by how I live my life? Should I be the proof? If I've been given an opportunity, what have I done with it? Have I taken myself and put myself in a position where if I'm in a training program, if I have just gotten a business loan, am I squandering the money? I mean, what am I doing? Am I using the money properly? Am I doing the right things with what I have been given? And if there's anything that's going to be the key to success, it's not going to be you sitting back complaining about what the world didn't do for you, or being angry and blaming some other race, some other gender, or some other nationality, even your friends or your relatives. The truth is, what are you doing with what you've been given? Are you doing the work? I've had people say, well, if only my husband would help me, if only my wife would help you. I got news for you. Your husband isn't supposed to help you. Your wife isn't supposed to help you. Well, they denied me because of my nationality. They denied me because of my accent. No, they didn't. They denied you because you didn't prepare yourself with what you have been given. And the more that we take responsibility over the things that we have been blessed to work with, the more results we will get from those things.
Mm-hmm. So, I think just one more question which is popping in my mind. You've number of times you've said that we must know what is the gift given to us. So, how do you think one can really identify what is a gift? How do I know? How do people know that, okay, this is my gift and I need to polish it, I need to chisel it, and I need to, come back as a wonderful diamond with that gift? So, how do you know that?
Well, the first thing, here's one way you know that something's your gift, Siri, is that if even your enemies and people don't like you have to admit you're good at it, that's probably your gift.
Okay.
If it's something you do well without much effort, that's
Mm.
probably your gift. If it's something that you have a compelling urge to do all the time, that's your gift. A good example, you could be the person that's just a great housekeeper. You go to
Mhm.
other people's homes, and next thing you know, you're straightening up their living rooms, or you're, fluffing a pillow. That isn't something to be ashamed of. That means that
Mhm.
you may be able to start a cleaning company and hire people, and you train them to do what you do naturally. You may
Perfect.
be great at cooking,
Mm.
and whatever it is that you may have, make a great curry. Okay, you make a great curry. Well, perhaps your curry is just a little bit better than somebody else's. Perhaps the ingredients you use, the care you put into it, will differentiate you to the point that when people go to look at that stand and your stand, they see, well, he's really clean. She's really clean. I notice everything they do, they keep everything covered. He washes his hands, he puts gloves on every time he makes an order. It's the small things about you that make a big difference in how people are going to engage you.
Mhm.
The small things that come out of
Mhm.
your mouth when you say what you say to other people, what you say about yourself, all of that is nothing but seeds planted. And the question is it fertile ground? Your mind is the ground. What are you planting? What are you saying to yourself about you? What are you saying about other people? Because you cannot have what you don't give. You cannot be what you limit in other people. If you celebrate the other person, your customer, your client, even your coach, the chances of you getting so much more out of every point of contact, every person you meet,
Mhm.
that is going to be the stuff that enriches your life. Because I'll say it another way. If you want to be happy, take happiness with you everywhere you go.
Mhm.
And if you take that with you, if you want people to treat you kind, take kindness with you everywhere you go. If you
Mhm.
want people to support you to the extent possible, you may not be able to buy a product from somebody, but tell them how well made their product is. You may not be
Mhm.
able to loan them money, but encourage them by saying, I'm going to send you some customers. In other words, as you do unto others, that's going to come back to you.
Okay.
Mhm. Okay.
Yes, Dr.
Very beautiful.
Devan, so you are giving great insights. This is very inspirational and it's quite motivational as well. And we are in the audience of coaches. So, just considering that you did your best to explain what it is, if you can, in a very precise manner, okay, little more step by step manner, can explain that the successful focus coaching that you as a model or as approach you have. So, what are the one, two, three, or the first, second, third of the thing that you do when you meet a leader or some person? Okay.
I encourage, the first thing is to have a spirit of gratitude.
Mm.
Be grateful. Nobody owes you anything. Nobody had to be your client. When they chose you, they had other choices. You weren't the only person out there doing what you do. They could have gone somewhere else. So just simply being grateful is the first step toward
Okay.
engaging people in a meaningful, healthy way. Not taking things for granted is the second step. Meaning that, people will ask me, I get asked to do interviews just all the time. Some of them I turn down, some I don't. But what I base it on is, did you come to me in such a way that I could feel your spirit in your heart, that I could see that you truly had the intention
Mm.
of contributing to life in a meaningful way?
Mm.
That's what I make my decisions on. I look at, that gratitude, that appreciation, and that third thing is just awareness. To be so present in the moment that you think about, how am I showing up right now? Did I did I iron my shirt? Look at how both of you are presenting right now. You look wonderful. And you
Mm.
look like somebody could walk up to you and know that they're in the presence of somebody that it means something, somebody that values themselves and everything around them. So how you show up, it has a great deal to do with this. And I'm not talking about pride or arrogance. I'm talking about presence. And
Mm.
what I mean by presence is, what do you present to people when they are in your company? Are you the person that's encouraging the group to have a higher standard? Are you the person that's encouraging yourself to stay focused? If 10 things go wrong,
Mm.
okay, but can we celebrate the one thing that went right? And what we'll learn from that is, by having gratitude, appreciation, and presence, and being in the position that we are conscious about how we present, that allows you to have dominion over yourself. And if you have dominion over yourself, that significantly increases your opportunity or your potential to have dominion over the circumstances that you're in. If you can have dominion over the circumstances you're in, now you can have dominion over the outcome from you being present in those circumstances. In other words, I have found myself in losing situations, but because I showed up the right way, because I had an attitude of gratitude, because I was mindfully present, I
Mm.
was able to take something that was meant to curse me and have that very thing that should have been a curse be something that catapults me, that something that was supposed to break me, it'll be the very thing that builds me. Something that was supposed to torment me ends up being something that I have a triumph in, to the extent that even though it was meant for evil, the way that I handled it, it turned out being something that was good. And I'm saying to you, as a coach or as a client, as a business owner, as a
Mm.
person that's watching this going, I really need to get my stuff together. It all starts with you changing the way you look at things. And if you can change the way you look at things, the things you look at will change.
Perfect. Also, I was just wondering, you said about we have to look into ourselves. That's very, very true. If unless we have that shift, it's difficult to create that shift, even in your client. So definitely, that's one of the biggest things what we work on. And similarly, in our workshop, also when we talk about, helping people to navigate to their true beingness, that's one of the key things what we do. And when we're training people as coaches, so that's the first thing what we train them as. First, as a coach, how much you're connected to your true being. If you can do that, and the same thing you can get transferred to your client, I think it can really change the whole perception. It can change the whole coaching environment. That's something very beautiful what we do as well.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this, when you're coaching people, when you're doing coaching with these people, obviously when we're talking of success, there is some element of even setback or failures, right? That's kind of, according to me, what I think is could be a stepping stone or a ladder, or the steps of the ladder to reach to that success. So how do you handle that in a coaching session when people come out with incidents of failures or setbacks? So or you have some personal examples in coaching, if you can share, how do you do it?
Well, there's a thing called appreciative inquiry.
Mm.
Another one is called motivational interviewing.
Mm-hmm.
You can Google that again, appreciative inquiry or motivational interviewing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When we ask a client or even ourselves, what is this situation here to teach me?
Mm-hmm.
What is it shifting in my view of myself, in my view of life? How can something, even something I don't like, be in my life and used in such a way that I can take the bitter shell and
Mm.
get to the fruit beneath the shell, the fruit beneath the skin? There are lots of things that you probably wouldn't want to eat the skin of. You don't want to eat the skin of a banana.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You
Right.
don't want to eat the shell of a cashew or pistachio nut. You know, but they're things that as we go beyond the surface and we peel back the skin of the avocado, we peel off the skin of the potato. Sometimes we have to add a little heat to it, because if you just leave it the way it is, it probably isn't going to do you much good to try to take that in to nurse yourself. But see, if you put a little heat to it, meaning if you put some energy, because energy is what creates heat, you know,
Mm-hmm.
if you put some energy into what looks like a dead or a stagnant situation. Another thing is your focus. Whatever you focus on, you amplify the power of. I have people that come in my office every day and they focus on every negative doggone thing that could have happened. Well, they said this to me. Well, I just can't let go of this. And I'll ask them, I say, well, when did that happen? 2 years ago. Wait a minute. Wait, you still mad about something that happened 2 years
2 years.
ago? And see, here's what that tells me. Now I'm not saying that's not normal. We all do it. We all can do that. Because see, your mind isn't restricted and your thoughts aren't restricted by time. Your mind and your thoughts can go backwards in time 20 years, and they can go forward in time a month or 5 minutes from now. Bottom line is, just because you think it and just because it makes you feel some kind of way doesn't mean that it deserves your attention. If you put your attention on what you want instead of what happened, if you put your attention on what you intend to create rather than what's already been created, you see, a lot of us, we're so attached to the past that we're missing out on the present. And if you miss out on the
Absolutely.
present, you forfeit and forsake the future. If you are so stuck in what happened yesterday, you're not creating what's going to happen today, and you should have hell not controlling what's going to be there tomorrow. In order for us to take the things that happen in daily life, the problem of normal everyday life, we have to not be so arrogant to think that we're the only ones that can learn something from somebody or situations. The person you're mad at, they were doing the best they can with what they knew at the time. Just like you, when you did something that hurt somebody or disappointed somebody or offended somebody, you didn't know any better. You were being childish and silly yourself. So we have to allow other people the grace that we want given to us. We have to learn to forgive the fact that some people don't even know that they're silly. Some people don't know they're stupid, and a lot of people surely don't know they're crazy. Well, why can I say that? Real simple, because there are times when I have been silly, when I have been stupid, and I have been crazy, but I didn't know it at the time. I thought what I was doing was the right way to
Yes.
react. I thought I was
Right.
protecting myself. I thought I was, I was standing up for myself. And I didn't realize that sometimes when you stand up for yourself, you may be standing on somebody else. Sometimes when you are protecting yourself, you are punching someone else.
Mhm.
Sometimes when you're defending yourself, you are damning somebody else. So as we revisit problematic moments, as we explore why bad luck happened, why did someone lie on us, to us, why did they betray us? If we look deep enough, I'm quite sure you will find that to some degree, you betrayed yourself before they ever betrayed you. You will find to some degree that you were as much at fault as them because something that you could have said, you did not say. Something you could have done, you did not do.
Mm.
And it could even be just as simple as if you had just simply looked at things differently, the
Mm.
outcome would have been totally different.
Mhm.
So, what we do with that is we bring that forth into the present and we say, now that I have this in front of me right now,
Mhm.
what can I do differently that I didn't do the last time? See, last time you opened your big mouth. Maybe this
Mm.
time you should shut your mouth.
Mm.
Last time you got mad. Maybe this time you could just seek to understand their perspective. Last time you were offended. This time, maybe you should put yourself in their shoes. Last time you went off and said a whole bunch of mean, ugly, hurtful things. This time, maybe you should say something complimentary and something kind. In other words, if you keep doing the same thing, you probably are going to get the same outcome.
Let's come. Right.
If you want a different outcome, have a different attitude and a different action.
Okay. Yes, Dr. D, even you have given a good insight about something that can be done every single moment. And I was caught up by your phrase when you said attachment to the past. Now, in our model of coaching, we communicate or we make a person reflect on that every single moment we are manufacturing a past.
Mm.
The now is not the past, and we manufacture a wonderful past, then we have a good moment in the now, and we can create a great future as well. So, past is a powerful resource, and we use the present as the moment mirror to reflect on the past and deflect what is not required in past, and then extract the best you can to direct the person's mind. What has not been created can be created in this moment. So past or present or future in fact does not exist. What exists is the way we orient our mind and focus. Right? This is how we do in our model, so we make them use it. Now, when people want to remain hopeful and want to become hopeful and they lose hope in creating something, we turn them inward and help them to reflect on something wonderful, that we have been given innate hope, that every single breath we are hopeful to live the next breath. and how they can become mindful and change the whole neurochemistry and become hopeful to create a future they have thought of. Okay, and then begin creating it. So what I mean is that without building a very strong chemistry inside, whether we pull it from the past or imaginative future or something decisive from this moment, change cannot be happen. So we perceive the world around in the state we are. That is how we build in our model from the innateness or from the experiences some state that is useful right now. Now, in your model of coaching, how do you create such shifts inside so that they can make the appreciative changes outside? So, how do you go about doing in your success focused coaching?
Well, one of the things that I believe is inherently important is that when we take the time to just be mindfully present in right now,
Mm-hmm.
because being honest with you, you can't do anything about yesterday. You can't do anything about tomorrow. The only time that you can solve anything is right now. And it is by being aware of what am I doing in this moment. You know, there's a somatic, meaning a physical check-in we can do, like where do I feel my pain?
Okay.
Where do I feel my stress? Do I feel it in my neck, my stomach, my head? Do I feel it in my chest? Okay, right now, what am I thinking about right now? What thoughts am I allowing to go through my mind right now? What action can I take right now? Who do I need to call and
Mm-hmm.
apologize to right now? Who do I need to tell I
Mm.
love you right now? Right now, am I wasting my time? Am I sitting up drinking liquor and smoking marijuana? Am I about to go and get another prescription drug out of a bottle
Mhm.
right now? I mean, right now, could I be exercising? Right now, I'm eating. Do I really need to eat all of this right now? Is what I'm taking in my body right now, is this good for me right now? Is this woman I'm with someone that is going to do me good? Is this man I'm with going to harm me right now? In other
Mm-hmm.
words, you have so much power, but you only have it in the now. You have zero ability, zero, to do anything about the past. You have zero ability to do
Can't change
anything
it.
about the future. But right now, you have 100% capacity to do something about right now, because right
Mhm.
now is the only thing that you can control. Now, I offer to you, like Sat said a moment ago, he said, you know, our time is an illusion, past, present, and future. What I just said right now is already in the past. What I
Mm.
said 3 seconds ago, it's already gone to the past.
That's
What I'm
right.
about to say, now I'm saying it. So I just took the future and brought it to here. In other words, all we have is right now. And if we use right now properly, then tomorrow is the result of what we did in our now.
Wonderful. So we have a question from the audience. There's somebody called Wrong Tailors. She says, many times I'm able to shift focus and turn my attention to something positive. However, when I practice this, others are consistently trying to draw me to their level. How can I divert their attention without sounding like I don't care for them?
Well, sometimes you have to understand disruption is part of change. If
Mm.
you are going to grow, then disruption is necessary. A good example of this is a mother carrying her child. When it's time to give birth, she experiences the disruption of her water breaking. Well, That disruption could occur while she's at the market. That disruption could occur while she's laying in the bed. That disruption could occur while she's walking down the street. But see, when transformation is happening, it is not acquiescent or concerned about anything other than the outcome that is going to come from the transformation. I think that all people need to learn to be selfish enough to tell someone else, not now. Your agenda is not my agenda. Now, I warn you, think before you act. Consider before making any decision. What is the short term, the intermediate term, and long term cost of what you are about to do? In other words, look at the feasibility. Is this successful because you thought of it? Or is this successful because you did your homework and you looked at the environment, your thought or your action? Is this the right time to do this? Is this the right way to do this? And can it be sustained? Often we start a lot of stuff we can't keep up. And that's called making a foolish decision. In other words, it says only a fool begins a journey without first assessing the cost. In other words, if I want to drive 200 miles and my car gets 20 miles to the gallon and I put in 5 gallons of gas, I'm probably not going to make it. You know, in other words, I need to sufficiently prepare myself for what I'm undertaking. And if in my preparation, my assessment reveals that I don't have what it takes to do this, perhaps that's something I shouldn't do. The other part of it is who you surround yourself with matters. It is never a good idea to take advice from somebody that doesn't have fruit in that area. You know, one of the things as a coach that I do is I work with high net worth individuals. Why? I'm a high net worth individual. I work with public figures. Why? I'm a public figure. I work with entrepreneurs. Why? I'm an entrepreneur. Well, I work with people that have been in entertainment and pro sports. I've been in entertainment and pro sports. So when I'm talking to these people, I'm not looking at the fact that they have a big name or they're famous, because here's the real truth. How you gonna feel at night when you're at home by yourself is what you really have to think about. You're gonna reach a point in your life sooner or later where money cannot solve your problem. You're gonna reach a point in life sooner or later where you can't pick up a phone call and call somebody and they're gonna solve your problem. So before you put yourself in that situation, be wise enough to stop and ask yourself, you know, who am I listening to? What is their experience in this area? How much homework have I done? And are my thoughts based on fantasy or are they based on the facts? See, many times we find ourselves in compromised positions because we want to believe something that's just really not true. Other times we find ourselves angry because had we just waited a little bit and done things the proper way and used timing, divine timing, and been a little bit more patient, we would have been a lot better off. So in a nutshell is this: just because you think it doesn't mean you should act on it. Some things you should act on, but you haven't thought about enough. Other things, you had a great idea and it should be done, but not right now. Be wise in who you associate with. Be wise in what you pursue, and be wise in how you pursue it. And if you do those 3 things, you don't have to worry about acquiescing to somebody's ego or being a victim of your own.
Yeah. And I would just like to add, what you mentioned, that if you are, you're not, if you are what you are, then you don't have to worry about what you are saying. And I think also if you are quite working on yourself and you're quite centered within yourself, and if you know when you're doing things right, as you also mentioned, then if anybody is talking around, then you can just kind of, in that scenario, just take a step back and see everything like a movie happening in front of you. It's not necessary what you rightly said. You don't have to respond or even react, even not respond at that time. Just let what is happening. And when you remain within yourself, in your being self and connected to your true self, then you can actually see what's happening around and then take a decision whether you have to speak or not to speak, or allow, and definitely don't allow them to pull you down. And that is something, because if you are stronger, I think then nobody can pull you down, really, even if what's happening around you. So very, very beautifully said.
Uh, yes, Dr. D. Ivan, you have a lot of experience and you have dealt with variety of people. Everything that you communicate shows, and you have given good nuggets of wisdom. I think if people replay back the
Hmm.
audio, they can pull out several things that you talked, and they could have missed this moment maybe. But just in the interest of the audience and to highlight few more things, allow me to pull out and extract something wonderful, which you might have done. What is the toughest client you have met and the biggest transformation you could bring in, and how did you help that person to sustain that change or transformation?
Well, if I be honest, the most challenging client I have met is me. Uh, just gonna be honest, it's truly me. When I've had to go back and revisit my life, and I look at myself, I'm 60 years old now, so that's 6 decades, and I've learned to accept that I am not the best version of myself yet. I think in terms of having an awareness that I don't know as much as I thought I knew. Matter of fact, the wiser I get, the more I realize I don't know. I've also had to humble myself and accept that there are people that no matter how much I want to change them, they're never going to change. And
Mm,
I've had to accept that there are people that I had given up hope on, but God hadn't given up on them. Because a lot of people had given up on me, and they were wrong for doing that, because the man I am today is not the fool I was 20 years ago.
mm,
The learning to give other people the grace that I want extended to me, learning to not hold grudges and to let go of my anger and my judgment of other people, because I don't want nobody judging me and I don't want people being angry with me. I've learned that the things that come out of my mouth can either be a blessing or a curse to someone. So now I'm very mindful of what I say and how I say it. And if I'm going to punish you, I'm going to punish you simply by not being present and available to you. I don't need to harm you in any other way, because if I'm living my life and I'm operating in my gifts and my talents, you will be blessed by being around me as long as I remain in that state. You will be cursed by being around anybody if you don't operate in that state. And then I'm saying that to say I'm my biggest blessing, but I'm also my greatest curse. And it's a matter of where do I have my head, and why, the why of what I'm doing. You have to think about what is the imperative decision that I'm making about this moment. What is guiding me toward resonance and clarity? What is it that's going to shift me in such a way that I can maintain an awareness and be in a position where
mm,
someone can actually benefit from me, rather than find themselves um, angry or frustrated because I've been part of their process. But see, that all starts with, how am I engaging me? Am I treating me well? Am I being honest with myself, and am I doing to other people what I want done to and for me? But that is the hardest client I've ever had to work with. And as an MCC, one thing all MCCs can testify to is what really gives you that credential isn't knowing techniques of coaching. That helps. But when you become the transformation that you can create in other people, that's when you are truly an MCC level coach.
Okay. Think, yeah, so you have something?
Yes. So I was just wondering, Dr. Divan, quite a bit time say that it is very imperative for a person to gain clarity about the self. Like, as you said, I'm the biggest, I have to coach myself. I'm the most difficult client for myself. And also about the purpose. And so is it really important that, when we have connections, and do we need to connect to people? Do we need to have the marketing tools? Or first, it's important to gain clarity about your own self in relation to being successful as a coach. So, what do you think about this?
Well, I'm going to say this to you. You can do all the marketing you want, but if you're a bad product, all you did was expose yourself to a bunch of people and let them see what you're not capable of and what you need to work on. I would offer that it is always a wise decision to get your stuff together first before
Mm-hmm,
you start reaching out trying to share that with other people. It
mm-hmm,
is important as a coach that you live your brand. When I tell people that prayer, meditation, rest, uh, exercise, all of that matters. Well, hell, I do. You can look at me and tell that I work out. You can look at me and tell that I exercise. Now, I may not be the most handsome guy in the room or the cutest guy, but I'm not fixing to frighten anybody. And
mm-hmm,
we have to put ourselves in a position where we don't frighten other people by the experience they have with us. If anything, we should honor what we've been given and do the most we can with it. If you don't have but a little car that starts sometimes and doesn't start others, at least keep it clean. So when your car is over on the other side of the street not starting, somebody won't mind coming to help you. But if your car looks nasty, they probably not gonna want to touch it. If you don't have the money yet, but you have a vision and a commitment, but you've shampooed your hair, you're clean, you may not have the best clothes, but you've ironed them and you take care of them and they're clean. Somebody
Hmm.
will look at you and see what you are capable of and what you potentially could be rather than judging you for where you are.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
If you have a little bit of knowledge and you're kind of smart, if you take the time to study and get the proper credentials, even while you're pursuing them, your professors and the people that will give you an internship will say, you know what, I like him, and they're
mm-hmm,
going to really be good at this once they get out of school. And I can see signs that right now this is somebody we might want to hang on to. See, you don't always have to be your finished product for
mm-hmm,
someone to want to do business with you and want to honor and engage you. If you can demonstrate that while you're a work in progress, that you are a wonderful work in progress, if you can demonstrate
Hmm.
while you don't have anything, but you do have character and you have integrity and you can be trusted, if
mm-hmm,
people know that you keep your word and you're committed to doing the best that you can, even if you make a mistake, even if you're not perfect, somebody can say, yeah, well, everybody makes mistakes. One thing I will say, his heart is in the right place. Her heart is in the right place.
mm-hmm.
That's a person that I can trust.
Hmm.
That right there, or putting it another way, a good name is priceless, and all the money in the world can't repair a bad one.
Okay. All right, we have only 1 minute to go. And let me ask you that if just right now, just after the break, people have to use a time to chill, a one concept that your book has, and they have to use it as a game, what could they do?
Well, that's an audio CD that I created to help people stop stressing and to really just, trust that if you chill out, everything will be all right. But now, I didn't say chill out and sit on your butt and don't do anything. I mean, stop worrying. Stop thinking you have to know what's going to happen next. But while you are patiently waiting, I'll say it in this way. If you're praying and asking God to bless you with a new house, clean up the house you're in. Why would he give you a new house if you are so nasty, people walk in, can't find nowhere to sit? Why would he give you a new house and you haven't swept your floor? You got dirty dishes in the sink. You don't take care of the furniture. Why would he give you a new house? Why would you get a husband or a fiance if the person that's dating you right now, you treat them bad? Hell, you come home, your dog doesn't eat. Your dog runs and hides under the bed, and the cat can't wait to get out the house. If you can't even treat your pets right, your plants over here withering and dying, how are you going to take care of another person? You want a child, but you don't even take care of yourself. Why would God give you a child? You don't even take care of you. You sitting up worried, mad. You can't handle your emotions. That's not kid friendly. So in other words, what I'm saying is, while you're waiting, chill out and be in a space where you're using time wisely. Again, the now is all you have. And in the now, you're doing the right thing so that when you finally get what it is you're praying for, you're working for, you're seeking, that you will be well positioned to be able to maintain it. Because whatever it is you want, I promise you, you're going to want something else. And I promise you, whatever it is you want, it requires maintenance and upkeep.
Wow, good. I think we are just over the time, and a good message of time to chill out. So let everyone chill with and not to worry about anything they are trying to achieve. Okay. Thank you very much,
Thank you so
Dr.
much. Yes.
Well, it's always wonderful being with you in India. I can't wait to get there and gain some weight eating all that good food and going out in the country and going by the ocean and going to Mumbai and Nepal and seeing the beauty of your country. But I love you guys. I appreciate you. And it's always wonderful to spend time with you.
We appreciate your visit, and we will appreciate it if you come again.
Definitely.
Thank you for having
Thank you so much. Thank you for being with us. Thank you all the audience at different positions, wherever you are, for being with us and putting those questions. If you're there, it's good. Do watch it again. If somebody has not watched, it's going to be there on the various platforms, and you can also spread a word. So thank you, Dr. D1, once again for being with us.
Thank you.
You.